14 games around the NBA tonight. Some of them look great, and some of them look like they are ready for the All-Star break. We're going to talk about it next here on Locked on NBA Game Night.
You are Locked on NBA, your daily NBA podcast. Part of the Locked on Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome into Locked on NBA Game Night. I'm your host here, Ryan Blackburn, joined by Abdullah Ayubi of Locked on Wizards. Very excited. It's my first time hosting, folks. We had a full-packed game night for tonight, 14 games around the NBA. So we're going to get straight to it. Very excited to be able to join this show and have a good time with you guys, breaking down some interesting NBA content tonight. And we are going to start, Abdullah, with a very, very impressive game winner and performance from Kawhi Leonard as the Los Angeles Clippers take down the Houston Rockets. Final score of that one was 105-102. Kawhi Leonard, 27 points, 12 rebounds, 4 assists, 4 steals, and he hit a big game winner right at the end of the buzzer, right near the end of the buzzer. Abdullah, what are you taking away from Kawhi and what he's been able to do this season?
I'll say one thing, Ryan. He should have made the All-Star game when the list came out. It shouldn't have taken that long for someone to be replaced by him. Kawhi Leonard this season, for what he's doing and making sure that the Clippers don't allow the Thunder to get a top 5 pick, because that's the league's worst nightmare. Kawhi Leonard, that was probably Kawhi Leonard tonight, 27, like you mentioned, 4 steals. And honestly, I know the West is competitive, but if he's playing like this, can carry this Clippers team, especially it was against a good Rockets team that's going to be contending in the Western Conference, maybe they could somewhat make a push for that playing spot, and because they're battling 500. But tonight, just a great performance and a great shot by Kawhi, and it just goes to show that he still has the juice in him. I know there was talks about him essentially retiring not too long ago, but he can still go out there and ball out. Let's see if he can keep it up post All-Star break.
Yeah, it'll be very interesting to see. I'm looking forward to seeing what the Clippers do. Obviously, trading Ivica Zubac, I think a lot of people thought they were going a different direction, but if they continue to win, if Kawhi Leonard keeps playing like this, then who knows where it is in store. On the other side, the Houston Rockets, they continue to be good, not great. They continue to look pretty shaky at times. Kevin Durant had 8 turnovers tonight in a very important game. Your take on Houston and where they continue to look like in the pecking order for this Western Conference?
Yeah, I like how you brought up the fact that they're good, not great. And in order for them to come out of the West, they need to be great. And I think they have the capability to do so. I think Alperen Sengun is a top 5 center in this league. Kevin Durant is still a bona fide superstar. Thompson is a guy that can give you really good defensive minutes. The mesh, maybe it's not there, and I understand Steven Adams, Fred VanVleet, they have some injuries, Dorian Finney-Smith as well, but they have to play together as a team, and maybe this post-All-Star break will give them some time to develop some type of chemistry. But when it comes down to the playoffs, especially since there's this notion behind Kevin Durant saying that he can't win without Steph Curry, if there's any time for him to put up and shut up, it's time, because right now he's 37 years old, and there's a reason why this Rockets team put so much draft capital into acquiring Kevin Durant, and they want to make that push. So they better figure something out post All-Star break, Ryan.
They have to figure it out. They're trying to figure out some things overall with this team, and it does look like they've obviously missed Fred VanVleet throughout the year. Steven Adams is a big loss during this season, so we'll see if they could turn it around. But let's move on to the Knicks and Sixers. The Knicks looked really good. Sixers, Joel Embiid was a late scratch in this game, and it showed, because the Knicks won by 50. They won by 50, 138-89. For the Sixers' perspective, we have we've got the Locked on NBA short here. Very excited about it.
I realize there's a lot to be upset about when it comes to Daryl Morey, but this 49-point loss to the Knicks just before the All-Star break, this one stings just a little bit extra. And the reason being is the Sixers take this 138-89 loss to the Knicks, who were on the second leg of a back-to-back, after the first leg of the back-to-back, finished with an overtime loss to the Pacers. But yet the Sixers, without Joel Embiid, without Quentin Grimes, they go into this game with no energy. And a guy that provided a lot of energy for the Knicks was their trade deadline acquisition, Jose Alvarado. That's right, the Knicks added where Daryl Morey of the Sixers took away. They got worse. And Alvarado came off the bench to play just 19 minutes and score 26 points to lead the Knicks, including 8 of 13 from beyond the arc. And no matter what, Knicks up 30, Knicks up 40, Knicks up 52. Alvarado is still creating steals on the defensive end and being able to create offensive opportunities and convert them for 3 after 3 after 3.
I love the energy from Mark, Ryan.
Brutal stuff. Mark is not happy with it, and you can understand why. Obviously, the late scratch for Embiid is, of course, like that's a major factor there. He's clearly dealing with some irritation, going to play after, maybe play after the All-Star break. We'll see. But the Knicks getting Jose Alvarado, that was a big trade deadline acquisition.
Yeah, 26 points tonight, 3 rebounds, 4 assists, 5 steals. I mean, in 19 minutes, a guy that I thought was an under-the-radar move during the trade deadline. And maybe this is a piece that the Knicks need in order to take over the Eastern Conference and get over the hump with Detroit and Boston. This Knicks squad, kind of similar to the Rockets, where it's all on them. I really think they're going to be the favorites coming out the East. And last season, it didn't go their way. But this season, with the way Karl-Anthony Towns, Miles Bridges, OG Anunoby, the way he can play both sides of the ball, Jalen Brunson, a star, I think they're the favorites, and rightfully so, especially with the and again, a big reason why I thought they were favorites going into the season was Indiana, the team that knocked you out. Tyrese Halliburton's out for the year, so this year, if it's not the Knicks year, Ryan, I don't know when it will be.
Yeah, that's a good point. They have to have it, and it's why they went and were aggressive at the trade deadline to go get a guy that should be able to help them. Clearly was able to help them tonight. Let's go next to the Celtics. They beat the Bulls in a pretty impressive performance. We've got John Corrales with more here.
It's made it look easy here at TD Garden. Thank you, Chicago Bulls, for being a slump buster. They're a bit of a mess. They were missing a few guys. And the Celtics offense, which had been slumping over the past couple of games, put up 124 points. A little sloppy to start, but then the ball started moving really, really well, and guys were super efficient. Jaylen Brown hit everything. Payton Pritchard came off the bench and hit everything. Derek White was making Derek White plays, and Nikola Vucevic was really good. Vuce came in and hit the shots he needed to hit, started finding his three-point stroke, made a few really nice passes, he got a few assists, and ended up with a 19-point, 11-rebound double-double. Jordan Walsh cutting well, finishing well, defending, getting the steals, getting out on the break. That's what you need to do against a team like Chicago. Like I said, a bit of a mess. So the Celtics go into the break feeling good about themselves. Offense is back on track. We'll be back in a couple of weeks. But I'll be talking about it tonight on the Lockdown Celtics podcast.
I saw this Bulls team recently. They are discombobulated, to say the least, Abdullah.
Yeah, it's crazy, Ryan. I thought the Celtics team really wasn't going to be that good without Jason Tatum, but the depth that this roster has with Payton Pritchard, Walsh, Derek White, Jaylen Brown, acquiring Vucevic, Hauser, I mean, they are stacked throughout all phases of their roster. And the Bulls, Ryan, my good friend Ben Schrober and I, we say that the play-in is also known as the Miami Heat and Chicago Bulls Invitational. They are in purgatory, Ryan, and it makes no sense for them to try to compete. They're at the point right now where they should try to acquire the highest draft pick that you can, especially since this draft class is loading up. So Celtics, it makes sense. It's a win that you're supposed to get. Vucevic goes off against his former team, and for the Bulls, I think you just got to stack more L's. I mean, everyone else is tanking. Why not Chicago to the mix, Brian?
They absolutely should. There's no question about it, but I don't think the Bulls want to. I think they love to be in the play-in. Let's go next to Charlotte, Atlanta. Charlotte was able to pull this one out without Moussa Diabate and Miles Bridges, who were recently ejected. From the Hawks perspective, the losing perspective, let's get Brad Rowland.
Hello, friends. My name is Brad Rowland from the Locked On Hawks podcast. The Hawks have now lost 3 consecutive games as they fall in relatively thrilling fashion at the end against the Charlotte Hornets on the road in their final game before the All-Star break. Atlanta has been flailing a little bit, and in the first 2.5, 3 quarters, they defended very poorly in this game. Down the stretch, it was actually quite good. The Hawks ended up having a relatively solid overall performance on defense, in fact, during the whole 48 minutes, but the offense let them down late, and the Hawks only made 10 threes in the game, and that was appropriate after they had a 3 in the air. Not a great 3, but a 3 in the air that would have tied it at the end. It did not fall, and the Hawks had 2 chances down the stretch, including a 2-on-1 fast break, down by 1 in the final minute that went begging into a turnover, and After a valiant comeback, the Hawks were down by 11 points with 3 minutes to go, and from that lens, it was a pretty good ending for the Hawks, but the final 30 seconds or so did not go their way, and they suffer a second loss to Charlotte within the last 4 or 5 days. We'll get into all of what transpired, the takeaways, and more on Locked On Hawks.
Yeah, it's an interesting time for both the Hawks and the Hornets. Hornets have really been coming forth with the way that they have played over the course of these last few weeks. They've been very impressive. They actually just passed the Hawks in the standings, where Hawks feel like they have been around this place for a while, but the Hornets, they seem to be cruising, Abdullah.
Yeah, it's interesting because, again, you lose Bridges and Diabate, and this Hornets team, another win streak got snapped by Detroit, but you go out there and you beat Atlanta team that you're potentially playing for that playing spot against. And the Hawks, honestly, again, to me, I'll give them the same treatment I give them the Bulls, just the playing invitational. I think the one silver lining as Hawks fans, Ryan, can look towards is that draft pick, that New Orleans draft pick, and hoping that you land a top 3 pick. But again, this is a game where these two teams are fighting for that playing spot, and the Hornets have been playing good basketball. Con Knipple, I think right now, second rookie of the year behind Cooper Flag. He's just a shooter. LaMelo Ball still playing at a good level. Brandon Miller with 31, 9, and 2. So the Hornets, they're your young squad, and maybe this is the year where they actually make some noise and make the play-in.
They're the first team I've ever covered where I felt old watching a basketball game. So it's been very interesting to see them grow into this team. Why don't we take a break? When we come back, we've got 10 more games to cover next year on Locked On NBA Game Night. Tax season doesn't have to take over your life. This year, TurboTax is making it easier than ever to just hand things off and move on with your day. With TurboTax full service, you can have your taxes done for you by a trusted local expert start to finish without the stress or guesswork. Instead of spending hours trying to figure out forms, you can meet with a local TurboTax expert in person or connect online. They handle everything from W-2s to self-employment forms and work to get you every deduction. It's a huge time saver and gives real peace of mind knowing an expert is handling it. For a limited time, you can have your taxes done by a local TurboTax expert for just $150 all in. If a TurboTax expert didn't file for you last year, just file by February 28th. Take taxes off your plate and get back to your life. Visit turbotax.com/local to book your appointment today. We're back. Locked On NBA Game Night. Thanks for tuning in. I'm Ryan Blackburn, joined by Abdullah Ayubi. Very excited to cover this full slate of games. Let's get into it next with the Thunder and Suns. The Thunder have been without Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, Abdullah, but they got Jalen Williams back, at least for a brief amount of time in this one, and he went off in just 20 minutes, had 28 points, was very, very impressive as the Thunder take down the Suns 136-109. Is anything stopping the OKC Thunder this year?
Yeah, I don't think so, Ryan. And as great as Victor Wembanyama is, he's an alien. This Thunder team from top to bottom is very stacked. And hey, they just added the 2024 or supposed to be Rookie of the Year. He got hurt though. But Jared McCain can ball out, and the fact that he landed on this squad, it's a perfect place for him. I mean, Lou Dort, Casey Wallace, Chet Holmgren, all of these guys can be really good pieces on all these different types of franchises in the NBA. And I know people were questioning them when they went on a skid. They lost to San Antonio, and everyone was like, oh, they didn't get the regular season record. It doesn't matter. They're still going to win 55-plus games. This team, top to bottom, the coaching staff, the organization, they just came off a championship. It's going to be exciting to see if any team can knock them off. If there's any team, though, Ryan, maybe potentially San Antonio, just because Wemby is just so special. And for the Suns, again, Dylan Brooks, I honestly, and I got to give flowers to him, Ryan, I didn't think he would pan out this well this season. I didn't think he would be playing at an all-star level. And Jordan Goodwin, they have a nice squad as well. I don't know if they can make so much noise in this stacked Western Conference. We'll see. But just an expected game by this Thunder squad because they're so deep.
Suns are good. I don't think they're great, but that's okay with where they were and what they've done overall this season. They've been pretty impressive as well. Jalen Williams does get hurt in this game. The only thing that I think could really stop the Thunder at this point is the injury bug. So we will see whether that pertains to them this year. But one of the most interesting storylines from this past offseason and then into the trade deadline, Cam Thomas for the now Milwaukee Bucks, taking over for his new team in one of the first performances he's had just absolutely shined and helped take down the Orlando Magic for Milwaukee. Camille Davis of Locked On Bucks has more.
After dropping Monday's game against the Magic, the Bucks get they lick back in a 116-108 victory against the Magic in Orlando. I'm Camille Davis with Locked On Bucks, recapping the Bucks' 8-point victory over the Magic in a game that the team needed, the fans needed, just to see this team play with some effort, with some pride, and they put together a really strong performance behind the new Bucks on the scene. Tonight was the Cam Thomas game. Started 0 for 4 from the field, finished 12 of 16 for a game-high 34 points. You had Ousmane Dieng come through with a career night for him, finished with, 17 points for Ousmane, I believe that it was. And then you have Kevin Porter Jr. getting a triple-double. You have a career-high night for Jericho Sims, who also finished with 17 points tonight. Just a strong effort from a Bucks team. And again, the Magic shot the ball well from three. The Bucks are the worst free throw shooting team in the league, won a perfect 24 of 24 from the line, which helped them out tremendously in this one.
Abdullah, I mean, this team has needed plenty of life. Like, they've needed something to give themselves at least a little bit of a boost here. Could Cam Thomas be that guy?
Yeah, it's funny because Cam Thomas impacts winning, and you wonder why the Brooklyn Nets waived him. He was the second leading scorer for them. I just wonder, Ryan. But yeah, no, Cam Thomas is a bucket. I was a big fan of him coming out of LSU, and he can just go out there and score 34 points in 25 minutes, 4 rebounds, 2 assists. And if you're a Bucks fan, Ryan, I just don't know how you feel, because Giannis Antetokounmpo, your superstar, has been playing with your emotions. It's like, okay, we want to contend, but then no, I want to leave. And it's back and forth. You're going back and forth. So I don't know. But Cam Thomas, just off of him getting picked off waivers and that type of performance, you're hoping as a Bucks fan that when Giannis comes back, when Ryan Rollins comes back from injury, this team can somewhat play together. Kevin Porter Jr. is also talented. Kyle Kuzma at times can be somewhat decent. Jericho Sims. This squad can somewhat maybe try to compete because Giannis is still a superstar. But if Giannis gets shipped out, then it's time for a rebuild.
Yeah, it's gotta happen in all likelihood if Giannis makes it clear, which Giannis would never make that clear. That's not something that he wants to do. Let's move to Cavs Wizards now. You were watching this game. Tell us a little bit about what happened.
It was a very competitive game. The Wizards, no, I'm joking. The Cleveland Cavaliers completely destroyed my beloved Washington Wizards, 138-113. No big men tonight for the Wiz, Brian. No Tristan Vucevic. No Marvin Bagley. He's gone to Dallas. No Alex Sarr. They had Bub Carrington do the jump ball, Ryan. Bub Carrington is 6'5". That is just amazing. Tonight for the Wizards, though, one bright spot was, in my opinion, Sharif Cooper. He had 11 points. There is a possibility where he might be that backup guard role here in the district. Just nothing to look forward to because, again, this is a Cavs team. Sam Merrill, I mean, oh my goodness, Ryan. He turned into prime Kyle Korver. 32 points in 25 minutes, 5 rebounds. James Harden only had 13 points off 12 free throws. And it's just, this Cavs team was expected to blow this Wizard squad out because this Wizard squad is trying to finish bottom 4 in the league because they want to ensure that top 8 pick.
Hey, I mean, got a lot of teams that would also like to ensure that top 8 pick. Let me tell you that. So always understand, always get it. But like, hey, this is just the name of the game in the NBA right now. Let's go to Pacers Nets. Our guy Tony East, who usually hosts on this day, was on scene to talk about that game.
Here in Barclays Center, Locked On Pacers. Woo, what a game for the Pacers. They gave them 82 points the first 2.5 quarters. They were down 18 about halfway through that third quarter. Then they flipped everything on defense. They finally walled off the paint, were able to keep the Nets from getting there both to score and to spray out to other players. For threes, that was a big change for them, and their offense picked up as a result of getting more stops at that point in the game. They cruised down the stretch, just tie game late, and finally to seal at a moment for Cam Jones, the rookie guard who started one of the first few starts of his career, 110 all, and with less than 20 seconds to go, he rises up for a 3 at the top of the key, absolutely drills it after 2 turnovers, some crummy moments for him that he was unhappy with, but he, of course, was happy to hit that 3, and it ultimately sealed the Pacers' win. It was obviously a tank-off kind of game with a lot of guys resting for both teams, obvious incentives for both teams with the draft, and the Pacers were the team that the young guys were able to lead them to a win. We'll have much more on this game on Locked On Pacers.
Abdullah, do you have any opinion on the tank-off?
If it was allowed, I would want both teams to win, Ryan, because it would have helped my Wizards. But yeah, again, this Nets squad, I mean, they had so many first round picks. I think 5 or 4 in this past draft, and I just don't know if you're a Nets fan, who you hang your hat on and look forward to. I guess we're just hoping to land a top 3 pick. And for the Pacers, I still think, Ryan, that although you lost Tyrese Halliburton, this squad is a little too talented to be the bottom of the barrel. So maybe there's a possibility where they'll still land a top 5 pick, and next year with that pick alongside Halliburton, Jarris Walker, Pascal Siakam, you can somewhat make a run like you did a year before you made it to the championship. But again, we'll just have to see. And it was just a tank game.
as they will be, and that seems to be a common theme, especially on the night before the All-Star break. Don't forget Zubats as well. They've got a pretty impressive mix, I think, when everybody gets healthy, in theory. But that's always the thing. Finally, here for this segment, let's wrap up with Pistons Raptors. The Pistons, the other side of the massive fight that happened earlier. Cade Cunningham helps take down the Raptors, though. The Pistons win 113-95. Cade with 28 points, 9 assists, 3 steals. Was a very impressive game. Do you believe in the Pistons? Do you believe in this team? I think that everybody kind of assumed they would be the Knicks and Cavs at the beginning, but the Pistons are just roared to the front.
Yeah, I want to, Ryan. I just want to have to see how they do in the postseason, because maybe when it comes down to the Knicks and Pistons, if they matched up, experience might take over. This Knicks team has been to the Eastern Conference Finals, and this Pistons team, I think they just got their 40th win, so they're 40-13. Cade Cunningham is a superstar in my eyes, and Tobias Harris, Paul Reed, Thompson's really good as well. Jalen Duren is really good when he's playing. Karis LeVert, Duncan Robinson, Tobias Harris. You have a good group there. It's just when it comes down to it, if there's a situation when it comes down to experience, I got to tip my hat to the Knicks and even the Celtics. They won the championship not too long ago, so we'll see. But Cade Cunningham is a star, Ryan. I remember not too long ago when I knew people were saying that Jalen Green was better than him, and I was like, give him some time. Yeah. This kid is a baller.
All right. We got 5 more games. A lot of these teams, they were ready for the All-Star break. We'll talk about it next here on Game Night. But first, finding a doctor you actually like can feel like discovering a diamond in the rough. Sure, you want someone who's in network, nearby, and has availability, but you also want a doctor who listens, makes you feel comfortable, and explains things clearly. That kind of doctor exists, and finding them is easy with ZocDoc. ZocDoc is a free app and website that helps you find and book high-quality in-network doctors so you can find someone you love without all the hassle. They have more than 150,000 providers across all 50 states, covering over 200 specialties from primary care and dentistry to dermatology and eye care. I'll admit it, I've definitely put off some doctor's appointments in my life, certainly longer than I should between work, life, everything else. It's so easy to delay, but ZocDoc makes the process really simple. You can search by specialty or symptoms and actually build a care team that works for you. And whether you want to go in person or do a video visit, ZocDoc makes it easy either way. Stop putting off your doctor's appointments and go to ZocDoc.com/LockedOnNBA to find and instantly book a doctor you love today. That's ZocDoc.com/LockedOnNBA. ZocDoc.com/LockedOnNBA. Thanks to ZocDoc for sponsoring this message. We're also brought to you today by Wayfair. The new year is here, and it's the perfect time to reset your routine and refresh your space. If you're spending more time at home, you might as well love how it looks and feels. That's why you should turn to Wayfair. It's a one-stop shop for everything and getting your home back on track. From bedding and mattresses to storage solutions for every room, Wayfair makes it easy for you to start the year fresh. They have everything you need for a home refresh all in one place. Whether you're updating your living room, organizing your space, Wayfair's huge selection makes it easy to find exactly what works for your style and budget. I picked some new bedding up. I picked some new pillows up. I thought that was the best way to do it. Wayfair has some really great designs and some really good bedroom feels, like when you're trying to change things up a little bit. Sometimes you just want to feel cleaner, calmer, put more put together. It's honestly made getting back into a routine this new year. I feel better, and it feels a lot more manageable as a result. Get organized, refreshed, and back on track this year for way less. Head to wayfair.com right now to shop all things home. That's WAYFAIR.com. Wayfair, every style, every home. We're back. Final segment, Locked on NBA Game Night. Thanks for tuning in, folks. Make sure to check out the Everydayer Club for your favorite team. Just go to the link in the description and search Everydayer Club for your favorite squad. All right, Abdullah, we got to talk about some of these teams that have been very stressed out, very frustrated with the way they just want to get to the All-Star break as quickly as possible. One of them, the Sacramento Kings, who just lost their 14th game in a row. Let's first get the Jazz perspective from good old David Locke.
Tonight for the Utah Jazz was really summed up by a kid in the 4 rows in front of us, about 22 rows up. When they announced Jaren Jackson for the very first time ever in Salt Lake City as a member of the Utah Jazz in the starting lineup, this kid jumped and screamed, and electricity was running out of his body with an exuberance and a happiness that has not been seen in this arena in over 4 years. The Jazz fans are re-engaged and in love with Jaren Jackson Jr., who made his debut in Salt Lake today, 23 points in 22 minutes of action, and the Jazz blew out a hapless Sacramento Kings team who has now lost 14 straight. 121-93. The Jazz led by 19 at the end of 1. They led by 27 at the end of 2. They added 7 more onto that, but I'm not smart enough to keep the count. The end of 3, this was never close, and the Jazz won it, leading by as many as 36 tonight. 23 for Jaren Jackson, 19 for Bryce Sensabaugh and Lauri Markkanen, and Isaiah Collier continues his assist run. He had 14 assists tonight in 26 minutes. But it was Joshua, the young boy who was wearing a Keontae George jersey, but couldn't have been more excited about Jaren Jackson Jr.'s arrival, that sums up where Jazz fans are right now.
Some very interesting stories here. That's a good perspective from Locked on Jazz, David Locke.
Yeah, honestly, again, both teams that are bottom of the barrel. And I was wondering, Ryan, if somehow the Jazz would miraculously pull everyone and blow this game, but it's impossible. This Kings squad, and it's just crazy because if you look at their injury report, Ryan, I'm looking at it. No Zach LaVine, no Russell Westbrook, no Sabonis, Monk, DeAndre Hunter, Keegan Murray. I mean, everyone was out. They are literally, it's hard to out-tank this team. The last win they got was against the Washington Wizards, and I watched that game, Ryan. Even the Wizards tried their best to tank that game, and it's amazing. They're going to be bottom, I think, of the NBA. It's going to be hard to compete against them when it comes to tanking, and it just doesn't make any sense because I feel like these veterans could give you at least 25 wins, but I guess not. This Jazz squad, again, they're in the same boat as the Wizards because they have a top 8 protection in their pick, so they want to finish bottom 4. But yeah, this Kings team, they are lifeless and helpless.
Well, let's go to James Ham for more. I'm sure he can help bring up the mood for Locked on Kings.
Can it get any worse than this?
Ooh.
I'm James Ham, your host of Locked on Kings. The Kings dropped another one tonight. Their 14th straight. This one by a final of 121-93 in Utah. Kings shot just 24% from the field in the first quarter. It was over before it even started. They shot 34% for the game. It was an absolute drubbing by the Utah Jazz. And look, it can't really get any worse, I don't think. At 12-44 heading into the All-Star break, the Kings have the worst record in the NBA. It's not even really all that close. Their win percentage has them on pace to win just under 18 games on the season. One bright spot tonight, Devin Carter got his first career start. The Friar ended up with 19 points, a career high. Good on Devin Carter. Somebody's got to score on a bad team, though.
That is true, and they are bad. There's no doubt about it. They're in a tough place. This tanking it's getting to a very rough place for everybody. But the Kings, they can do it naturally, and they can also rest all their guys. So it's pretty brutal. Let's move to T-Wolves Blazers, who not necessarily fully on this track, but it did seem like the T-Wolves were much more prepared for this game than the Blazers were. They win 133-109. Let's get Ben Beacon from Locked on Wolves for more.
The Minnesota Timberwolves go into the All-Star break on a positive note, following up a losing streak with consecutive wins, this time beating the Portland Trail Blazers by 24. I'm Ben Beacon, host of the daily Locked on Wolves podcast. And this was a comfortable win for the Timberwolves, which we haven't been able to say a whole lot of, especially against below 500 teams, and especially lately. Of course, the main story, though, is Julius Randle. He finished with 41 points, 23 of them in the fourth quarter. Things got a little closer in the 12 to 15 point lead range late in the third quarter, and Julius Randle came out firing in the fourth. with 23 of his 41 in that final frame alone, had 41 points on 24 shots, a really efficient night. Jaden McDaniels also really good for the Timberwolves with 21 points, 6 rebounds, and 6 assists in the Wolves win.
That's a wild performance from Julius Randle. I did not realize it got up that high. Your thoughts, Abdullah, on Julius Randle as the second option on a title contender?
Julius Randle is probably the most volatile player in NBA history, Ryan. There are games where he has 41 points, 7 rebounds. There are some games where he goes 2 of 19 from the field. If you get this Julius Randle in the postseason, maybe there is some contention for this Timberwolves squad to push out San Antonio or even compete against the Thunder. But again, it's going to take a lot of heroic effort from Anthony Edwards, Jaden McDaniels, Rudy Gobert-Nasri. They have a nice squad alongside Deontay DiVincenzo, and there is a possibility where they can make a run to the Western Conference Finals, but we'll just see how they do in the postseason. For the Blazers, right now this team is 3 games below 500. Outside of Denny Avdia, Ryan, I don't know if there's any guys that, again, Drew Holiday, very solid. Scoot Henderson's development, I don't know much about because, again, I don't see him playing. It's just an interesting situation that you have in Portland. And in my opinion, I don't think Denny is a first option on a championship team. But I could be wrong. Maybe if you play him around a good core, potentially so. But knowing how stacked the Western Conference currently is, and it's going to be for a couple of years, it's going to be hard for this Trailblazers team to compete anytime soon.
Let's go to Heat Pelicans. Another team in the Pelicans that I think absolutely needs the All-Star break and frankly needs the season to be over. Heat win this one. It was a little bit closer than I think people would have expected at 123-111. Pelicans do have a lot of their guys back. Saddiq Bey has been playing pretty well for them. Trey Murphy, obviously great. Zion Williamson had a big game for them in the starting group. Herb Jones has been there, but they are still not quite good enough. Bam Adebayo, 6 of 19, not the best number for sure, but still gets 27 points in a win for them. Should they be a part of this tanking bowl, or are they comfortable in the play-in for you?
They're going to go back in the plan. That's their invitational, Ryan. I just don't see this Heat team. I thought maybe potentially if they landed Giannis, then okay, we got something to work with. But again, Bam Adebayo, Jaime Jaquez, Khalil Ware, that's cool. Davion Mitchell, and the rest of these guys, I mean, Tyler Hero's out with an injury, Andrew Wiggins as well. I don't see it. I don't think they can compete against the Boston Celtics, the Detroit Pistons, the New York Knicks of the world. And the Pelicans, again, you have no incentive to lose because you don't have your draft pick. Jeremiah Fears, I can't lie, Ryan, I was wrong about him. I was concerned about the size, but man, he can go out there and hoop. And the whole Zion Williamson situation, is he going to stay? Is he going to go? I still think, Ryan, when healthy, and it's a big asterisk, that Zion is a really good player in the league. I think Trey Murphy is a baller as well. There's some solid pieces. I think Derek Queen is a stud. There's some solid pieces that they can build on towards the future.
Undoubtedly, they have solid pieces, but unfortunately, they don't have one of the most important ones, which is their first-round pick for next season. They don't really have much of an incentive to be in this tanking race, and so they will be playing their guys, I got to imagine. Next here, Nuggets-Grizzlies. The Nuggets won this game by 6. It should have been much more than that. Denver, not fully healthy, but certainly more healthy than the Grizzlies, who are starting Kyle Anderson and Gigi Jackson as their center and power forward, respectively. But they competed. They fought. They played pretty well. Denver's clutch defense continues to be an atrocity. They have so many different things that they have to work through. Nikola Jokic did get another triple-double, but 9 turnovers as a part of that as well. Denver's just been pretty sloppy. You were talking about the Thunder as the clear threats, the clear leading team in the race. A lot of people thought that the Nuggets could be a challenger. Where do you stand on them now?
Yeah, for me, it's a little up and down. And obviously, when the Jokic went out with an injury, I wanted to see how this team would look. But when Jokic is back on the floor, he is undoubtedly one of the best players on the world, and he just makes an impact. It's insane to a crazy extent. Now, when it comes to stacking up against the Spurs and the Thunder, it's tough because, again, Wemby is just so talented. But I can never count out this Nuggets team when you have Nikola Jokic playing, Ryan. He's just amazing. I think he's going to go down as one of the greatest and skillful centers of all time. We'll have to see. Maybe Jamal Murray just does what he does in the playoffs and turns it up a notch, and Aaron Gordon hopefully comes back from injury. So still have some nice pieces with Christian Brown and Tim Hardaway Jr. Jonas Valanciunas is a good solid option for depth. We'll just have to see. And I still think there's a possibility where they can make it to the finals. It's just how much load can Jamal and Nikola handle.
Final game of the night, the Spurs and Warriors. The Spurs immediately after Wemby went for the massive game last night, goes for 26 points in this one in a win against the Warriors, 126-113. You seem to be pretty high on the Spurs.
Yeah, I just think when it comes to having a top 3 talent in the league, then that in Wemby, you're gonna win, and you're gonna win the postseason as well. 26 points, 9 rebounds, 4 assists, 2 blocks tonight. Keldon Johnson filled up the stat sheet with 21 and 6. De'Aaron Fox 27. This Spurs squad, I thought potentially if they made a move at the deadline, maybe that could put them over the hump. But the way Wemby just played against the Lakers, I know LeBron, Luka didn't play, but still, it's very impressive. And this Warriors squad, I know they've been dealing with injuries, but Steph Curry is still a good. Or did he even play tonight? Oh, he did not. Okay, so just Draymond Green, I guess, and a bunch of other guys. But but what I'm trying to get at, Brian, is that this Spurs squad, when Wemby's healthy, they're a threat in the West because he's just so freaking good.
Undoubtedly, and they've got so much depth around him as well. So much so that they lost Jeremy Sohan earlier today, not with the team. So interesting wrinkle for sure for that team, but it does seem like they've got plenty of talent to get through. Still such a young team, so we'll see what kind of experience they get in this playoff run. But that's it. That's all 14 games that happened tonight, Abdullah. We did it. Thank you for hopping on with me, man. This was fun.
Definitely. We got to do more of this, Ryan.
It should be fun. So everybody, thank you so much for tuning into Locked On NBA Game Night. There will be another couple of games tomorrow, and then we're hitting into the All-Star break. Everybody have a good one. Hit that like button.